Hello everybody, today I have the honor to present you briefly a new economic model. Do we need a new economic model? According to an opinion poll in Germany and Austria, 88% of the people in Germany and even 90% of the people in Austria ask for a new economic order. Not reforms, but a new economic system. And the question is, shall our economic system become more ecological? Shall it become more socially just? Shall it become more regional, to a certain extent less globalized? Shall it become more solidary, shift the focus from competition to cooperation, a solidary economy? Or shall human dignity become the center of the economic activity, but not only as a moral call, but also in the indicators of economic success? And the answer of the common welfare economy is that we should have more of all these nice goals and values. And the concept of common welfare is not a new one. It has been used in history since the 13th century. Thomas von Aquin created the Latin word bonum commune, and it has been introduced into nearly all constitutions of Western democracies. How did the common welfare economy concept develop? It was a group of 15 Austrian companies who, together with me, were not satisfied with the present rules of the game of economy, the legal rules of the game of economy. And they said, let's create a different game. And the basic analysis is that the two fundamental rules of the game of the present economic system, which are for profit orientation as the main goal of companies, and competition, which is the form in which we relate to each other in the so-called free market, that these rules of the game enhance completely different behaviors and values than those values and behaviors that allow flourishing our interhuman and ecological relationships. If you ask people wherever in the world which are the values and behaviors that allow flourish your relationships, in the whole world their answer is the same. People say this is trust building, this is honesty, this is respect, cooperation, solidarity, caring and sharing. These are the values that allow our relationships to flourish. And if we asked which behaviors and values are enhanced by for-profit orientation and competition, then in the whole world people say these values are egoism, greed, recklessness, irresponsibility, and even violent behaviors. And this is a very strong contradiction. And the proposal of the common welfare economy is thus to substitute these rules of the game by another two, which is the strive for the common welfare as the highest goal of all enterprises, and cooperation. And we calculate that if we change these legal rules of the game, that human and ecologically sustainable and responsible behaviors will flourish in the same manner as today egoism and greed are spreading, but not due to human nature, but due to the legal rules of the game. And how do we want to change the rules of the game, and what would it exactly mean to substitute for profit orientation and competition by the strive for the common welfare and cooperation? The most important thing is to not only set a new goal for all enterprises, which is to strive for the common welfare, but also to define economic success with exactly this meaning. Today we measure economic success on two levels, the national economy, the macroeconomic level, and the microeconomic level of a company. Here we measure economic success with the GDP, the gross domestic product, and on the level of a company with the financial profit. And both success indicators are monetary indicators. But money has certain advantages, but it has a very strong disadvantage, which is that it is not able to measure what is really valuable, our basic needs, the satisfaction of our basic needs, life quality, or fundamental values of a society. I hope I can illustrate that with the question: if a rising GDP tells us anything secure about the question if we live in peace or in war, if we live in a democracy or in a dictatorship, if we destroy our ecological environment or if we save it, if we distribute just and everyone has enough to eat and a livelihood, or if some are poor and excluded from the welfare, and if in a society trust is rising, or maybe mistrust and fear. From a rising GDP, we don't get any reliable information of the development of one of those indicators, those values that are the most important ones for our well-being and life quality. And the proposal is to measure directly the goals of the economy. And this means that we would, on the macroeconomic level, substitute the GDP by a product of common welfare. And the common welfare measures directly those 15 life quality indicators, the satisfaction of basic needs, and our fundamental social and cultural values and their fulfillment, from health, ecological stability, satisfaction of basic needs, relationship quality, gender equality, democracy, co-determination, and welfare of time, for instance. So we will easily find the 10 or 20 factors of real life quality if we try to figure them out in participatory democratic processes. And on the microeconomic level of a single company, we propose to repeat the same, because a rising financial profit of a company, which is its today's most important indicator of success, again, does not tell us anything reliable about the contribution of the company to the social well-being. If the company creates or destroys employment, if the working conditions improve or get worse, if women are treated equally or just paid the half for the same work, if the company cares about the environment or doesn't, if the company produces arms or biological food. We don't get any reliable information of today's success indicator of a company, and that's why we propose to measure the contribution of a company to the common welfare, which is the overall goal of the economy, of a national economy, with a new indicator of success, which is the common welfare balance sheet. And the common welfare balance sheet measures the contribution of a company to the above-mentioned factors of life quality, satisfaction of fundamental needs, and our core values. More concrete, in the common welfare balance sheet, we measure how a company fulfills and lives the 5 basic values which are already in our constitutions: human dignity, solidarity, social justice, ecological sustainability, and democracy. And the common welfare balance sheet measures how a company lives these values against all stakeholders of the company, from the other companies where it buys its for products until the future generations, the whole spectrum of stakeholders. More concrete, we measure does the product or the service which is provided by the company really have a meaning? How are the working conditions? How is the distribution of the income? Are men and women treated equally? How ecological is the product and the production process? And do those who are doing the work also have a word in the decisions within the company? These are 6 basic questions, but the present version of the common welfare balance sheet comprises 18 common welfare indicators, and all companies, no matter how small or big, which branch or which legal form it has, can achieve between 0 and 1,000 common welfare points. And we could divide these possible common welfare balance sheet results in 5 steps and mark them with 5 colors. And on every product, like a book, where usually the barcode is, you could color the barcode in one of 5 common welfare steps achieved. And if you go with your handy or a little apparatus above the barcode, then on the display of the handy you have the whole common welfare balance sheet of the company online, and you can immediately check if you're a critical consumer if the product is only regional or also biological, or if it is only regional and biological, but women are not getting the same pay as men. So you finally have, in the first time of history, a very comprehensive information for a critical consumer's decision. This is, by the way, one of the fundamental promises of the market economy in theory, and the common welfare economy in this case provides this promise of the theoretical market economy. In the second step, we need another instrument, because even if consumers know how ethical a product or a service is, the price today is usually higher than the price of products that are not as responsible, ethical, fairly produced and traded, and ecological. And this is an expression that egoism and irresponsibility in today's economic model is even rewarded. Irresponsibility and egoism leads to success due to this price relation of unfair and fair products, and the cause for this are these 2 fundamental rules of the game, for profit orientation and competition. And our calculation is that if we change the fundamental rules of the game by these other 2, then the price relation will change here. And when the fair products and the ethical products are only a little bit more economic to consumers than the not fair ones, then everybody will buy the fair and ethical and responsible products. And the means by which we suggest to achieve this result is that the better a company's common welfare balance sheet is, the lower are the taxes the company buys, and the higher are the taxes a company pays if the results are bad. The lower are the tariffs in international trade, and the higher are the tariffs. The better are the loan conditions with the democratic banks. We're also building a democratic bank at the moment in Austria. And in the public procurement, cities and states first take a look at the common welfare balance sheet, and the second look they take at the price. And all together these measures and other measures, which I have not enumerated now, will have the effect that the ethical products will be cheaper than the non-ethical products, and that the most responsible companies will stay in the market, whereas the most egoistic and irresponsible companies will vanish. We also propose to limit the use of financial superavit of the companies. We would like to still allow the use of financial profits for investment, of course, for the payment of the workers, of course, for the repayment of bank loans, of course, and for some other useful uses. But we propose to not allow any longer to use financial profits to eat up another company, to invest those financial surpluses on the financial markets, to give the money out of the company to people who do not work in the company, and to give donations to political parties. With these four limitations to the use of financial profits of companies, we hope to overcome some core elements of capitalism which are harmful to the common welfare at the moment. Third, we propose to limit inequalities, for instance, in income. Today we have no limitation of the inequality of income, which has the result that some people work for a couple of euros or pounds or dollars per hour, and others gain, as it is the case in the United States, 350,000 times more for the same hours worked. The highest income in the United States in a year is today $5 billion, and this is too much. And we propose to make a democratic process and to ask people, do you want to limit income inequality? If people say, no, we don't want to limit, well, then people should have their say, and we would not like to limit it, because it's a democratic decision. But if people say, we want to limit inequality to a certain measure that we deem as just, then we make a law out of this proportion. Maybe it will be 10 times more, maybe it will be 20 times more, maybe it will be 7 times more. We don't know. Although actually I have made a survey in my speeches in 6 countries, more than 300 times with nearly 50,000 people, and the result in 9 of 10 cases is always the same. If people could take the decision, they would determine that the highest income in a national economy or in the European Union or in whichever area should not be higher than 10 times the legal minimum wage for the same working time. And this is already an indication how we want to make the strategy, how we propose to implement the model. We just give some inspirational input, but we don't say the 20 elements of which the common welfare economy is comprised, it's now 20 elements of the alternative economic order, shall not be implemented as we propose them. No, that's not the way we propose. Our proposal is to just pose the questions in constitutional assemblies in a first stake on the communal level of the small towns and cities and villages, and on this first level, people will make the experience that they are able to determine the 10 or 20 or 15 fundamental rules of the game of the economy, the legal rules of the game of the economy, which would be the economic the economic part of the constitutions. And on the basis of this consciousness rising and awareness rising that we are free people and we can freely determine the rules of the game of economy, which is not a natural law, it's a totally artificial product of a democratic society. And in a democracy, we are able to determine all legal decisions and even the economic constitutional part. On that basis, we would like to repeat the same procedure on the national level or maybe even on the level of the European Union. And then we would have, for the first time in history, an economic order that has been created in a democratic process by the people. How realistic do we deem this proposal? We started not even 1.5 years ago in Vienna. We made a first call to especially the companies in Austria, and immediately 100 people came to the first very small meeting. And on the same day, it was October 6th in 2010, a real social movement broke out. The social movement has reached 8 countries in 3 continents at the moment: Europe, Africa and Latin America, and more than 550 companies support the initiative. 200 companies from 8 countries will implement the common welfare balance sheet voluntarily, and so-called energy fields, which are local groups of support of the model, are also creating in more and more countries, from Austria, Germany, Italy, Switzerland to Spain and even Argentina at the moment. And maybe the last thing I tell about the model is that we have provided very easy tools for every person to participate. You can create in your town, in your village, a common welfare energy field. For all companies, you can immediately implement the common welfare balance sheet. And for all communities. In your community, you can organize the economic convention or assembly to figure out which are the 15 most important life quality indicators and which are the 15 most fundamental rules of the game of economy. And you can turn your community into a common welfare community. So I hope I have not only presented a concrete alternative to both to capitalist market society and centrally planned economy, but also have been able to describe that it has already become a social movement and that everyone can and is warmly welcome to join this movement. You can get further information so far in books that has been published in German and French for the moment, but in this year the book will be published also in Spain, in Spanish, and in Italy, in Italian, and hopefully also soon in English. For the moment, you can take a look at the website, which is common-welfare-economy.org. See you there.